This is problem 6 from the Chapter 3 closure packet in Algebra 1. Simplify each expression. So in all of these exponential expressions, we want to have no negative exponents, no decimals, and no parentheses left over. So all of those things need to be moved out of our answer and combined as much as possible. So for part A, I have 5x to the third, all of that raised to the second power. So that means I have that stuff on the inside of the parentheses 2 times. So let's write it 2 times. 5x to the third times 5x to the third. So I'm going to do what it actually tells me to do, which is multiply with the big numbers, the big regular numbers, 5 and 5. I'm going to multiply those together. So 5 times 5 is 25. Then I have x to the third times x to the third. So my exponents, x to the third really means x times x times x. That's the first x to the third. And then this one is the exact same thing. X times x times x. So together I have x times x times x times x times x times x, which is x to the 6th power. There's 6 of them there. So an exponent is just short for repeated multiplication. So 25x to the 6th is for part A. For part B, I have a fraction. So I'm going to separate each part, each kind of like term, into its own fraction. So the numbers go in their own fraction, the A's go in their own fraction, and the B's go in their own fraction. Okay, that helps to separate it out a little bit. So let's actually simplify this fraction with the numbers. Now if I did 14 divided by 21, you'd get a decimal, which we don't want in our answer. So let's divide both of these by 7. So I'll get 2 over 3 for that. Then let's look at the A's. A to the third over a to the fourth. If you write it out, that means 1, 2, 3 times each other, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can cross those out because an A on top of an A is really worth 1. So I have an A remaining on the bottom of this one fraction. Let's look at the B's. I have B times B, which is B squared, over B, and I can cancel another one out. So I'm going to smush everything that's left over and not crossed out together into one fraction. So I have a 2 and I have a B on the top left over, so I'm going to put 2B on the top. I have a 3 and an A left over on the bottom, so 3A. And that'll be my answer for part B. For part C, I just have, it's similar to A, except it's already written out for us. So I'm going to do the big number, 2 times 3 gives me 6. Then I have m to the third and another m. Okay, I'm just going to kind of write them next to each other. N to the second and n to the fourth. So if I wrote out 1, 2, 3 m's and another m, that would be 4 of them multiplied together. So 6m to the fourth. Same thing over here, n squared means 1, 2 n's multiplied together, and then 4 more gives me n to the 6th. Okay, so if you remember a certain way to do things with exponents, like adding or subtracting them, that's great. But if you're not sure, write things out like this and cross them out or kind of count them up and see how many there are. Like I wrote them all out here. So that's a great way to start if you're not sure what to do with these exponents.